things I found out that I think is a critical thing is during my master's, first in the State University of New York, and then when I did a master's in educational leadership here in Warwick. And like I said, this wasn't brought out in my postgraduate diploma of education training, was something called Bloom's taxonomy. And they pointed out that it was critical that when you're using information and when you're teaching, you should teach students how to develop these skills. And I found out that Nigeria was using the basic one, which is remembering. I mean, all of you, Nigerian teachers, you know how we tell our children, okay, let's recite the capitals of the states in Nigeria. And then we go, Kim, this is how we go, the 36 states. And we start to recite them. Abia, Umaya, Anambra, Enugu, and we go like that. Lagos, Oyo State, Ibadan. And we feel very, and you see the press, and yeah, wonderful. So I get to schools in the same Abuja, because I started to check now. And then, of course, it was so rampant when I got here. The primary school child will not be taught how to cram this. No. Rather, if I can break it down to how we'll use this in Nigeria, they would ask, if you went to the motor park, like we do in Nigeria, and you want to travel to Oyo State, and in the motor park, all the cars that in the motor park that are used for transportation have the names of where they're going on top of the car. From this Bloom's taxonomy, what do you think they're trying to achieve? And they said, which of the cars will you use to go to Oyo State? What are they doing? Making the children do what? We have remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. For those of us that are listening, just take a guess. I think I haven't asked you to not to unmute, so you can unmute. Can someone, I just like some feedback. Which of these skills do you see them trying to make the children?
To help them to think, to help them to understand and put a picture of what they are going.
Awesome. So can you see that understand is higher than remember? The real one, do you want to help me? Do you think also is teaching the children how to apply? I can see you're smiling. It's teaching the children how to what? Apply the knowledge that they have. Hello. Is there someone in the building? I've seen it do. I would love some feedback. Then not only that, it's teaching the children how to analyze, because they see all the cars and they're able to, okay, that one isn't going to Oyo State because the capital is somewhere else. Is another capital. They haven't even gone to create and evaluate. I'm sure you've heard of some of our ministers, and honestly, I know we say we have problem with the government, but could it be that the educational system they came from only taught them how to remember, and they didn't teach them how to understand, how to apply, how to analyze? And if you want to use some of the current terminologies, I hope you guys have heard of 21st century skills, problem solving. I've encountered leaders who, I'm sure you heard about a minister who went all the way to Russia to buy a refinery for us in Nigeria. And he buys a refinery that doesn't use the crude oil we use in Nigeria. I spent so much money because he didn't know, yes, we need, a refinery. He didn't know how to apply it. We were working with someone who is quite high up in government. And the typical, she was the head of a parastatal, and she had visitors coming Monday, Tuesday, and they all wanted to see her. You know how we want to see my people, and they're asking for this and that. And she realized she wasn't getting any work done. And she sits down and she says, look, I'm going to have visitors days only on Tuesdays and Wednesdays so I can work and actually do some work. Have you not complained that our ministers are not doing anything, the politicians, but they are receiving people every day. They're receiving people from their village, they're receiving people from their cities. And so it looks as if they're working, but they don't have time to follow. They don't even plan and evaluate. And we're fine with it. Recently, we've just gone through elections. And if you ask politicians to give you their manifesto, they'll say, I just want to do good. Some of them don't even have a manifesto, no goals. I went to vote some years ago, and I was at the voting place. I said, please tell me what the person representing your agent, representing the party, what do you want to achieve for Nigeria? Do you know what I was voting for senator. Do you know what the senator said? The representative said, our senator will buy you bicycles and motorbikes. I'm serious. And the real one is laughing, but that's the truth, and honestly, I just wrote there, Nigerian teachers training utilizes mostly the lowest level. I've already spoken about it. Even in appointing principals, I found out that UK, I think it was, I've forgotten which year now, I did a paper on that, I can send it to you freely. And they realized because of something called feedback, always getting feedback. Do you know, when I ask people to give me feedback in Nigeria, it's as if I want to kill them. So please just tell me what, and then some of them don't even want to tell you the truth. And right now in Nigeria, in appointing principals, we appoint people because of long-standing work as a teacher. I don't know why you'll appoint a principal. They'll be very good as a teacher. In the UK, there is a training for principals because they've realized that principals need to know management. They need to know leadership. They need to know basic accounts. They were where we were many years ago, but through feedback and seeing it's not working. When are we going to accept it's not working and stop blaming our government and do something? So the voice of one mindset is that we're thankful for what we have in Nigeria, but we have something to offer to the world. And for us to offer it accurately, we're known for corruption. And that's because we don't want to improve ourselves properly, build systems and structures to help others improve themselves. Here in the UK, you get recognized for doing things like volunteering. If they ask any of you to volunteer, in Nigeria, I know you might not be like that, and there's no money in it, they're not going to consider it. Having a heart to help others. And so why this seminar? I said, I've made it clear to the text that I sent to you, you have potential for global impact. With all the problems that we saw, that we can see in Nigeria, something is so strong in our hearts that we can train Nigeria. We have something to offer. Anywhere in Nigeria gets to, and they allow themselves to go through a training, they come out on top. Am I making sense to someone? I'm a minister, so I'm sure you think I'm preaching in the church right now. But we need to go through training. We need to apply ourselves to the training. People say things like, if you want to hide something from a Nigerian, put it in a book. That has to stop. We need to read. We need to train. I tell you, I'm getting out of here so that Kim can speak. She's seen more from the outside than what I've seen. And to put it in a nutshell, I said you need to have a flexible mindset in teaching. When you tell people you're not doing things well in Nigeria, they say, you don't like me. You don't want my job. Let's get things done right. At the end of the day, VO1 Education Consult, we want to support you. First of all, we'll assess you. This is where you are. This is where we want to take you to. Where, first of all, you are teaching your children in whatever institution, even in tertiary institutions, how not just to have knowledge, but also how to remember, how to analyze, how to apply it, how to plan with it, how to create. That's what gives you the edge. That's what is happening globally. That's what's happening in the developed countries. And it is accessible to you. Many Nigerians want to come to the UK. You don't need to come to the UK. With the advent of digitalization, you can have quality training there in Nigeria if you would apply yourself. And also the finances can be a problem. We have wonderful people, and that's where Kim comes in, and that's why she's here. When I finished my training here